In the 1970s, as plastic bricks dominated the world's playrooms and toy shops, a new breed of architects was born. And its rising star has started to build. Isn't that great? Sound fantastic.
A pile of potential.
Exactly. At 39 years old, Bjarke Ingels is the leading architect of his generation and a huge Lego fan.
I wouldn't be able to imagine my childhood without Lego, because it's such an integrated part of it.
So what would you build when you were a kid?
It was very much these James Bond villains lairs. It's always something with secret revolving doors or sliding walls.
Yeah.
Like I was very much into this idea that the architecture could somehow contain sort of unseen possibilities. That things seem to be a certain way, but then they could actually do so much more.
Bjarke's childhood vision has influenced his architecture today. Where others see problems, Bjarke sees potential. He's won prestigious commissions all over the world. He's constructing a waste incinerator that powers a ski slope, designed an entirely carbon-neutral island in the Caspian Sea. And he'll soon be turning a pile of bricks into the Lego House, the corporation's new museum and HQ in Billund. It's his dream commission, and it might inspire generations of children to see Lego as more than a toy.
Lego is really like the simplest and most blatant way to actually turn an idea into action. You don't need, you know, tools or knives or like even glue. It's a bit like grabbing a pencil and just drawing away on paper.
It's immediate. You've got it.
Yeah, it's a three-dimensional
Yeah.
sketch tool.
Yeah.
And he used this three-dimensional sketch tool to find a modern solution to a familiar problem. How to make imaginative buildings from prefab blocks.
Our labor wages are so high and our weather is so wet. You actually want to minimize the time spent on the construction site. You want to arrive with a lot of pre-assembled elements and put them together really quickly. So in effect, over the last 50, 60 years, Denmark has become a country entirely built out of Lego, or at least prefabricated modules. But if people are all different, then why do suddenly all buildings look the same?
Denmark's towers of today provoke boredom, but the towers from its past provoke wonder. Inspired by Copenhagen's spires of old, Bjarke was determined to create a tower block every bit as fantastical, playful and fun. But could he build it within the restrictions of Danish construction, using cheap prefab building blocks that all look the same? Bjarke turned to the bricks of his childhood to propose an idea for a modern high-rise that is as inventive as it is radical.
These are almost conceived as individual Lego blocks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can pre-assemble everything at home,
Yeah.
and then you just put the blocks together when you arrive at the site.
From a factory-made kit of identical modules, Bjarke has created not a rigid vertical skyscraper, but a lush man-made landscape of valleys and mountains.
It's a crazy project. You know, a lot of architects, they can be quite po-faced and serious, and that's why they build serious boxes. Did it inspire people?
Yeah, but I think it really made people look at architecture in a completely different way. In architecture, whenever you have a chance to intervene, you should try to realize the city that you really dream about living in. Because, it doesn't have to be like it is. Our cities are only the way they are because that's how far we've gotten. And that's what Lego enables anyone to do, is just to put together in a very simple way a lot of almost identical bricks to create what a city can be and what a city should be.
Your own city might not be that great, but on the living room floor, you can actually rearrange things and make the world as it should be. And I think the important thing behind Lego is that it's a better world, that it's a chance to improve on the world as it is now. So it's a chance to be idealistic.
Utopian ideals, childlike dreams of the future. Through the innocence of play, we tap into our visions of remaking the world anew. For the artist Olafur Eliasson, play is full of powerful possibility.
What actually goes on when you play with Lego? right? It's a very interesting. You take a spatial unit, right? And then you kind of compose it, almost like like a score. You compose it together and you add it to another, and there's a bigger space being built. You're not a consumer, you're a producer.
Olafur Eliasson turns the public into protagonist of a collective work of art. At the Weather Project at Tate's Turbine Hall, onlookers became part of his giant installation. In 2005, he travelled to Albania and used play to bring people together as they built a new city from scratch. After 50 years of communism, the transition from dictatorship to democracy looked uncertain. For the Collectivity project, Eliasson took 3 tons of white Lego and dumped them in the town square of Tirana, Albania's capital city.
I thought of this table experiment as a way of creating almost like a little parliament, where people kind of on the street would negotiate with each other.
In Albania, the idea of open political debate was new, and so was Lego.
Lego had not had a life in Albania. And for a lot of people, it was like, wow, look at this, isn't this plastic interesting? What is it called and what does it do?
People were invited to rebuild Tirana with Lego.
What does it mean to share space? And what does it mean to co-produce space? And suddenly you're standing next to somebody that you might not know, and then you see, oh, the person's building something, and can I add something to that, or can I at least build something next to it? Are we building a city together?
To Olafur, this Lego city had radical potential.
In Tirana, I do certainly think it added elements to a discussion which was already going on, and trying to develop a set of values which would reflect where the country is going. The fact that you can look upon your own city in which you are as a model. If you start to look at reality as a model, it is much more likely to be negotiable. And if it's negotiable, it can change.